Hey guys, Russ here from Calm Canine Training, and I'm going to be feeding Mr. Leo over here his supper, and I wanted to make a quick little video to go over some feeding protocol tips that will be helpful for a lot of people, because a lot of people struggle with their dogs not eating their food when it's given to them, and then they end up free feeding the dog, and then the dog doesn't eat the food because it's out all day, and then the dog gains weight. So a couple things that are very beneficial to help with this process is, number one, to try to make some sort of schedule to your feeding. So approximately around the same time every day that the dog is being fed. Stop doing free feeding, because if there's a 24-hour buffet, your dog has no reason to eat the food when it's there, and it can come and go when it wants. That will also make it a lot harder for young puppies who are trying to be potty trained to actually get potty trained and get on a schedule, because their food is there all day, so their body's constantly going to have to go to the bathroom because they're always nibbling. And lastly, it's just not really a healthy way for dogs to eat, to constantly be eating all throughout the day. It's much healthier for them to have set meal times. And a way that you can do that is simply by creating a set amount of time that the dog has to eat their food daily. What I like to recommend is 10 minutes per meal, meaning the food gets put down, they have 10 minutes to eat their food, whatever's eaten during that 10 minutes is their meal time, and then they wait till the next meal. Dogs will not starve themselves. The number one most important thing for your dog is survival. Survival happens through their food. They're not going to starve themselves, but what will happen is your dog will start to get onto a schedule, because they're going to start to learn that when mom or dad put that food down, it's time to eat it, because it gets taken away. And a cool bonus side effect of this is that your dog starts to see that you're in charge of one of its most important resources, its food, and its survival, and it will start to look to you like someone that's a little bit more important, because you give them that survival, you give them that important resource, the food, and you take it away. Now, along those same lines, there's also a proper way to feed a dog where they start to learn some manners through the feeding. So most dogs, especially if they have a good hearty appetite, you put the food down, they rush right into it and start eating. I want dogs to learn that they should wait for permission to eat that food, that you put the food down in front of them and they don't just lunge into it, they wait until they're given permission. And through this exercise, dogs start to learn to have some respect to you. They start to learn again that you're in charge of one of their most important resources, which is a great way to gain some leverage and some respect. And they start to learn some impulse control, which is a very important thing overall for a state of mind. Through having the dog wait for their food, we're practicing impulse control, and we're slowing down their mind and making them think rather than just act on instinct. And this is just beneficial overall in general, and it's so much nicer to have a dog who has some manners. So a simple, easy way to teach this is get your dog's food, put it down in front of them. If they go to lunge for it, to take it, you pick that food back up, you don't say a word, it's nice and quiet, and then you repeat and put the food back down. After a couple of rounds of this, what's going to happen is the dog's going to realize that the food gets picked back up every time that they go to eat it, and they're going to say, all right, that didn't work, and I want that food, so they're going to say, what will work? And then they'll maybe back up, give you some space, wait, and then when they start to actually settle in, you can see the wheels in their head turning, they're thinking about it, and they give you that space and they don't lunge for it, that's when you'll give permission for them to eat it. Then you'll leave the food down for 10 minutes, pick it back up after 10 minutes, and they'll wait for the next meal. I'll show you what this will look like. So we have Leo here. This is our first time doing this exercise together. So he goes for the food, we simply pick it back up. I'm going to move his water so we don't spill that. And now we'll repeat. Food down, and we pick it back up. Notice what happens, he sat down. Leo's a smart boy, so he's thinking about it. Pick it back up, close that door. Some dogs you might have to be quick with this, especially these labs who love to eat. So no rushing out of the crate to get the food, we're going to wait it out. A crate is a great way to do this because you have the safety of picking it up above the dog's head and them not rushing out and accidentally biting it because they're excited for the food. And you could also keep it more contained and a bit more structured so they're not running around all over the place trying to get that food and building up that excitement. So it's just an added element to work on to make this exercise a bit better. So we can see he's slowly starting to think about it. He's not jumping for it as fast, but I want him to actually wait, not to put his nose towards it. So you can see him slowing down a bit. Good. I like that. going to pick it back up because he's still pushing my hand around. He's being pushy for the food. I want him to slow down and think about it. So he's trying different things. He tried sitting down. Now he's trying to lay down, but he's still being very pushy. So we're going to just work through this. It's going to take some patience with a big, hungry lab like him who likes to eat a lot. That's a bit better than before, but I still want him to really wait next station. Notice he's not going for it anymore. He's looking around. Now is when I'll give him permission to eat it. Okay. And that's it. And now he'll have 10 minutes to eat. Whatever he eats during these 10 minutes, that's his supper time. Whatever he doesn't eat gets picked back up, and he waits till breakfast in the morning. And this is how we start to get dogs on a schedule. They eat their food properly. They start to respect you. They start to respect the food more. They start to have more manners. We work on impulse control. There's so much that gets built into this little exercise. It's a great thing. Anyone can teach this to their dog, regardless of the dog's age. You can start this with a young puppy. You could do it with a 10-year-old dog. It doesn't matter how old the dog is. You don't need any special tools. Just be safe about it. Have patience with it. And your dog will learn it, and they will figure it out on their own. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is you're making your dog problem solve and actually figure it out on their own.